Radio skill.
There's every single noise conceivable here. Welcome to The Edge, around the outside of Radio Skills for Podcasters, the series. Hello, it's Kevin Field. I'm your host, sharing my hints, tips and secrets of the world of radio for podcasters. So, where am I? What am I doing? It's a wonderful, a gorgeous, sunny morning in Hyde Park. It's absolutely lovely here. It's so nice. The sun is out. I'm next to the Serpentine and the waterfalls are flowing as well. Cars are beeping in the background. It is superb. It's lovely here. I'm sitting on a bench, and whenever I sit on one of these benches in Hyde Park or anywhere, you get them at the seaside and they've got people's names on. I think you have to pay respect. So this bench says, for Geraldine Charles, forever young. I've no idea who Geraldine Charles was. I am sitting on the bench that is dedicated to Geraldine. And it's beautiful here. It's so nice, so sunny. It's sort of that break from all the winter drudge that we've had in the UK to this beautiful sunshine, virtually cloudless sky. People are running, joggers are going past with their music on, families are walking around. There's a guy over there playing football with his kids. There's people hanging around these water fountains here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is the morning after the UK Podcasters pub crawl, which was a really interesting night. I'm going to talk a bit about that in this episode. I'm also going to talk a bit about an offer for you. If you'd like to go to New Media Europe, I'm giving you the chance to have £50 off your ticket price if you book it through me. Tell you more about it in a few moments. First, though, I want to do a chat through UK Podcasters Pub Crawl, which was last night, which was excellent. It was such a good evening. So those who paid for a T-shirt got one, including the big sponsors. Let's give a credit to the sponsors of the UK Podcasters Pub Crawl. All of these, I believe, have podcasts, so let's give them a plug. Begin Self-Publishing, the podcast. Phil Pallen Collective. Phil's podcast is great. He needs to do more, though. House Planning Help. How to Write a Tune. David Bain with the Digital Marketing Radio. Very good. Also on there, the Podcast Power Marketing. And, of course, Music Radio Creative. And New Media Europe, the sponsors of the UK Podcasters Pub Crawl, including Radio Skills for Podcasters. I love that our logo is almost on everyone's belly button. That's where it needs to be, isn't it? I think so. Less of a pub crawl in the end. We did, I think, one pub, and then we went to the Royal Festival Hall and stayed there the rest of the night. We cancelled all 10 pubs after that, which I thought was wonderful. It was good, actually, because, in London, all plans are off when you're in a pub. You can't hear each other talk, and that's what this event was about. It was about people chatting and networking. I think that Isabella and Mike Russell and Jim Spring really spotted that as an opportunity, because podcasters and New Media Europe people and anyone who goes to things like New Media Expo and things like that, the biggest value from any of those events is networking. I think that. It's talking to each other, understanding what each other does, debating, questioning things. Where would you be if you just all agreed? So this was really good. So well done to Mike and Isabella from ukpodcasters.com, and also Jim Spring from the London Podcast and Radio Network and all his team. It was really good. Some really good speakers there as well. Talking of what was said in the speeches, Mike Russell gave a piece on 7 key points to building your audience, and that's something I'm very interested in, because at New Media Europe, that's one of the pieces I'm going to be talking about, is how to build your audience and keep them coming back for more. So it's very relevant, and I'll share some of the tips now that he had from that brief chat with us in the room. One of the things he was talking about was leveraging your guests, and it's trying to get your guests to say they've been on your podcast, they've been there doing it, get them to credit you and credit themselves to promote that they've been on your podcast. The other thing that a lot of people say about building your audience is by getting influencers on your podcast. Several others talked about that in the evening. It's a big thing that's been talked about at the moment, how to build your audience, getting key influencers on your podcast. I don't think that's the right approach for you if you're doing niche targeted podcasting. So in the question of key influencers for your podcast, they are interview guests, but who are those key influencers? You really need to think carefully about that, I think. So for Radio Skills for Podcasters, I am at this time going through who I'd like to be as a guest on the Radio Skills for Podcasters podcast. And it has to apply to the area that I'm working in. It would be mad getting someone on that podcast who really, isn't right for that podcast. Imagine if you do a knitting podcast. Are some of the big names of podcasts the right people for a knitting podcast? Are they the people you want to use in that podcast? And will they leverage audience for you? Will they bring new listeners in? Is getting people who have amazing stories into your podcast that can help you build audience. I think it's all about pitching. I think you need to pitch your angle, and if you're pitching your angle, then you'll understand why that person needs to be on your podcast, instead of just emailing someone who's the big of the now and going, "Hi, I'd like you on my podcast." So really good tips from Mike Russell at the UK Podcasters Pub Crawl yesterday. Coming up, the New Media Europe offer exclusively for you. I can't wait to tell you about this, and hopefully some of you will be able to take it up if you're not going already. Now, here's something I want to share with you now, though. This is something that's really interesting that we're doing right now. So Radio Skills for Podcasters, we've got our page on Facebook. We're now starting a group, a focused, targeted group about the skills of being a podcaster. It's a space where you'll be able to ask me and others questions and share the tips and tricks and secrets of maybe the radio industry and of podcasting skills on Facebook in the group. It's an area where you'll be able to promote some of the things you're doing and that you're very proud of. I think it's really good to share things we're proud of. What I don't want it to be is just another group. It's got to be focused on getting something for you, getting something out of it. You've got to get something out of this group. Otherwise, what's the point of being a member of it? And that's what I find for all the groups that I'm a member of. I sift through occasionally and drop out of some because I'm just not getting anything from it. I'm never on there and I don't feel anything from it. So for you, I want you to get something out of this. So how do you join? It is a closed group. So if you'd like to join us, all you have to do is search for Radio Skills for Podcasters in the groups on Facebook. I will put a link in the show notes of this podcast as well. Radio Skills for Podcasters, the group on Facebook. Right, it's now time for the special offer that I was talking about. New Media Europe is fast approaching. It is the event for anyone who blogs, vlogs, podcasts, who's interested in social media, who's interested in entrepreneurial online business. They need to be at this event on the 18th and 19th of June this year. It's in London, in the great city that I'm sitting in, Hyde Park. It's in London and it's going to be fantastic. It's a massive event. I'm lucky enough to be speaking at the event. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sharing my hints, tips and secrets from the radio industry. I'm looking at how you can build an audience and keep them coming back for more. I'm not just going to look at how we do it with social media and how we get influencers on the podcast that you have. I'm looking at how we build it, how we really create an atmosphere, a community for your particular niche. And how then radio skills that we use in the radio industry, radio skills from the past, things that we've done over the last 30 years of radio, and how we do it now. Some of the different things where we've utilised social media, where we've understood the demographics, well, more than the demographics, the tribes, the profiles of our listener, how new media has really helped us do that, and how radio targets its audience, and how you can do that with your podcast. That's what we're going to be doing. So here's the special offer. If you'd like to go to New Media Europe, the massive conference in the UK, the biggest conference of its type in the UK this year, if you want to come along, I'll give you some money off your ticket, but only if you use my affiliate link. Lots of people are scared of affiliate links, but actually I think this is something that benefit you and me, and I'm going to be very straight and honest about this. I will earn some money off this as well. If you click and buy a ticket with the next 3 days on my link, I'll get £100. I will give you £50 of that 100. I'll give you half of the money I earn. So you get £50 off your entry price if you haven't bought a ticket yet. If it was me, I'd be looking at it going, well, I haven't got a ticket yet. It's a no-brainer. If I get 50 quid off, yeah, I'll have it. So let's look at dates for this. It's Good Friday in the UK. I'm going to give you across the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, and then it closes at midnight Monday. After that, the affiliate link closes. So really, it's up to you. If you want the money off, £50 off your ticket, I'll get £50 as well. We can do that deal, and you can go to New Media Europe with a ticket that's £50 lighter. So to close out from the gorgeous and beautiful Hyde Park on this lovely Good Friday morning, it's beautiful here. Seriously, the sun is out. There's lots of joggers, walkers, dog walkers, families, prams, everything you can imagine here. It's gorgeous. I think what I'm going to do, instead of going on the tube or on a bus, I'm going to walk through Hyde Park and make my way back to Victoria to go and get my car. It's going to be lovely. So get in touch, love to hear from you. Twitter @_Radio Skills. Email skills@radioskillsforpodcasters.com. And please do join us on the group now that's started. Just click like to join, I'll say yes. And that is the group that's on Facebook, Radio Skills for Podcasters in Group. Thanks for listening. Next episode will be another Edge. Catch you then.